In the aftermath of the death of Mr. George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, we witnessed global protests decrying the violence that led to the death of Mr. Floyd. Corporations, universities, and even the UN declared new proclamations towards ending racism and police violence globally. In the US, political figures such as Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker for the Democratic Party, went so far as publicly exclaiming, "Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice." These proclamations towards ending racism and police violence are noble. However, we sometimes believe that the measure and value of an innocent black male's life should be measured by the extent to which we prop them up to be sacrificial symbols for racial justice. This, however, represents a fundamental problem of how we think and value the lives of black males in society. Which is to say, if our understanding and theories of justice are rooted in believing that the only time we can perceive the humanity of black males is in their deaths, we must begin to question the assumptions, knowledge, and justification that society gives about why black males do not belong in society under the banner of justice. Our contemporary moment of renewed visions of social justice, spurred on by the deaths of black males, faces a misalignment between what the public perceives to be just and what black males, as victims of societal violence, understand to be justice. A part of this problem stems from the fact that we've been socialized not to encounter black males for who they are, but rather as criminals out to destroy society. These problems are not unique to the US. For example, in October of 2022, following a long-standing 2019 sexual assault investigation case that had no public witnesses or DNA matching samples, the Edmonton police force used a technology service called DNA phenotyping to help resolve their case. DNA phenotyping is the process of identifying physical appearance and ancestry based on unidentified DNA. In this particular case, DNA phenotyping predicted that the suspect was a black male of entirely African descent, stood at 5'4", had dark to brown hair, and was between the ages of 21 to 25. The dangers of DNA phenotyping in this particular case is the wide casting net that not only first asserts the suspect is a black male, but that he could be either from east, west, south, or north of Africa with no conclusive data. This is to say, any black male in Edmonton who looks just like the digital image posted by the police is a rapist to be apprehended. This motivation to castigate black males as rapists led to mass lynchings of black males in the 19th century in the US and during colonialism in Africa. When we construct black males in our midst as criminals to be apprehended, our encounters with black males are driven by suspicions that lead us to terrorize them for the most trivial of reasons. For example, on November 5th of 2020, 2 Montreal police officers arrested a black man walking to a car they suspected he was about to steal. Upon discovering that the car belonged to the man, the police officers were incapable of releasing him from the handcuffs. This, as you could imagine, added insult to injury. We must begin to interrogate society's need to terrorize black men and how suspicions rooted in stereotypes not only dehumanize black males, but leads to their deaths. This is to say, Our contemporary way of engaging with black males, in one hand in which we prop them up as racial sacrificial symbols and justice, on the other hand, as criminals to be apprehended, frames how we understand the violence that leads to their deaths. Perhaps one of the most disturbing features of this way of engaging with black males has been the use of blackface to mock them in their death. Blackface refers to painting oneself black to depict racist caricatures of black men and women. Blackface first emerged in the 19th century as a form of entertainment for white audiences at the dawn of lynchings of black males. Blackface not only has historical resonance, but has contemporary iterations. For example, June 7th of 2020, at a George Floyd protest in Toronto, a white male approached protesters adorned in blackface. Repulsive as the image may be, blackface has a long history in Canada. Research suggests that as early as 1841, Jim Crow museums built with Negro characters first appeared in Toronto. Research further suggests at the height of minstrel troops in the 19th century, Calix Lavalier not only had a work history as a minstrel actor, but a writer of songs, both in the US and in Canada, before writing the song, "O Canada." The shared racist histories and caricatures of black males between the US and Canada are present within our midst. In the 20th century, it was not uncommon for towns like Guelph to have racist memorabilia of black males sold as collectible items. In the 21st century, the internet provides global access to purchase life-size dolls of Mr. George Floyd from anywhere to $500 to $50 as collectible items. These racist caricatures of black males and memorabilia confront us with a profound philosophical question. What will it take for society to release its death grip on the bodies of black males? Perhaps one way to first approach this question is by understanding that black males exist in societies in which our cultural, social, academic, and legal institutions are riddled with racist caricatures that speak for black males before they enter into the room. In this sense, justice is what everybody else determines should be done to black males. We're not only in the need of reorienting our frames of justice, but how we relate to black males. This requires that we study how society and its institutions socializes the public to build public trust in institutions that make black males their primary target for violence and death. This is to say, as a society, we have yet to attend to the challenges that limit the life chances of black males as serious inquiries of our social, cultural, academic, and legal attitudes concerning black males. One corrective to this oversight is the new field of study, black male studies. Founded by Africana philosopher Dr. Tommy Curry, black male studies is a field dedicated to studying the different vulnerabilities to violence that black males have in society. Black male study scholars invite us to push for paradigm shifts in our social, cultural, and academic theories of black males. This paradigm shift necessitates that we move away from deficit thinking that asserts that black males are hypersexual, prone to criminality, and less intelligent. We must fight for new paradigms that center the life chances of black males. In this moment, it is perhaps equally important to heed the words of Ms. Samir Rice and Ms. Lissa Thompson, who both respectively lost their sons to police violence. In a joint statement published on March 31st of 2021, Ms. Rice and Ms. Thompson called out academics, policymakers, and even social activists for using the deaths of their son for political gain. in their statement, the called for greater accountability to black fathers and mothers by noting, when Tamir and Richard were murdered, we had to bury our sons. We did not see black lives or matter. Our DNAs were changed forever when our sons were murdered. It took breath from our bodies. When y'all go home, y'all chant, Black Lives Matter. When we go home, we miss our sons. Black males deserve more than a death-dealing world. As concerned citizens, we must begin to understand black males for who they are. Humans encountering problems in their world and their intellectual achievements as their own model and sensibility of being human in the world. We must begin to imagine a world in which our first encounters with black males are beyond the viral moments of their deaths. At the structural level, this means we must begin to center how black males understand themselves as part of our social, cultural, and legal theories of black males. On a personal level, this means we must understand the hopes and fears that black males have about existing in societies that makes them the target for violence and death. Importantly, we must take up the urgent task of demanding for the birth of a world in which black males exist beyond being dead matter. This is to say, we must begin to believe in the possibility of a world in which we understand black males as creative actors who add to the human condition as we journey along with them. Thank you.